So here I am again, good old Teddy D, the famous, great classic film buff, and I'm going to do another review of a great 4K Blu-ray, the cult classic Al Pacino Cruising, controversial crime thriller here, and this was directed by the great, legendary William Friedkin, who passed away in 2023. He was 87 years old too. Really, we lost a great guy there. Fabulous filmmaker, one of my favorite directors of all time. He was known for directing The French Connection, which was 1971, and of course The Exorcist, 1973. A great thriller called Sorcerer with Roy Scheider, that was 1977, very underrated masterpiece there. And then later on, he did a film called To Live and Die in L.A., another crime thriller in 1985, which is actually celebrating its 40th anniversary this November, which was really good too. And they did this 1980 with Al Pacino Cruising, and this film was very controversial because of it's about the gay community, a serial killer preying on patrons in the gay underworld, the leather bars and S&M clubs in New York City. And this is based on true events too. This really happened, and it's based on a book by Gerald Walker, who covered a lot of this stuff too. And William Friedkin actually adapted it into the screenplay himself. And Al Pacino plays the undercover cop Steve Burns, who goes undercover into these clubs and tries to sort out the killer. But very, really good film. I think it's underrated, and now it's getting its justice that it deserves. But this is a terrific slipcover here. Arrow, there's some special features back there too, but I'll get to those later on. But yeah, Arrow does this. They're a British company. They do a fantastic job on these 4K Blu-rays. As you can see here, that's the slipcover. Nice. You got Al on the cover there. And special features again. There's Al again on the cover there. All black, and there's the DVD, Blu-ray, and the booklet in there, which I'm going to take out. And you got the accessories here. Again, the special features there. There's a cover. Al Pacino. You get, two Blu-ray there, 4K version. The disc with the special features. And this is pretty cool because this is William Friedkin's notes on part of the script. It's a little thing here, a nice copy of that. I was really surprised when I saw that. So that's awesome. And you can see that there. Awesome, terrific. Nice little extra there. And of course you get a booklet here on all types of things, essays on here, scenes from the movie. That's all about the history of cruising there. What was going on during the protests, the gay community. It's the contents, everything you have. You get Friedkin's introduction. There's an interview with Al Pacino too. There's Billy Friedkin right there, the great William Friedkin. He was an awesome director, intense, no holds bar. Didn't play by the rules. I loved him. And there's Al again from the movie. There's a really good booklet here on Cruising Why the Village Went Wild. Yeah, there's a nice essay, a little critique on it from the Village Voice. I believe they're Friedkin again on set. Friedkin and Pacino. Really, it is almost, I'm not say disturbing film, not as disturbing as Friedkin's The Exorcist. I don't think, because this is more like a thriller, crime thriller. Serial killer. Yeah, there is Al Pacino in conversation with Lawrence Grobel. There he is again. Vintage interview with Al. And that's really good. It's a terrific thing there. And you get this too, a poster. Two sides of this. Oh, there you go. That's the original poster. I actually have this original one sheet in my basement. Another collector's item. I got this version too. If you didn't have it, this is just Arrow's promotional ad for it. Terrific. But like I said, also starred also starred Paul Sorvino, who everyone knows from Goodfellas, Paulie from Goodfellas, and he was also in a movie called Day of the Dolphin with George C. Scott, and The Gambler with James Caan, that was 1974. Also another William Freaking film, The Brinks Job, 1978, which was another good film. And Karen Allen, who plays Al's girlfriend in the film, which everyone knows from Animal House, and of course Marion in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And Joe Spinell, a very good character actor. He was Cheech in Godfather Part 2 and played a gangster in kind of a bookie in the Rocky films with Stallone, Sly Stallone, in both Rocky and Rocky 2. And he was in a horror film called Maniac in 1980, which was pretty wild and very gory film, thriller, but that's a pretty nice film too. And really interesting soundtrack to this too. Jack Nitzsche did the music score. He used to be a musician, play with the Rolling Stones and Neil Young a while back, and he also did some music for Freaking's The Exorcist. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975, Officer and a Gentleman, 1982, John Carpenter's Starman, which was 1984. He died very young too, at 65. What a shame too. He had a cardiac arrest, and that was back in 2000. And we lost another really good composer. And his sound score to this is very interesting because it's very atmospheric. Has this kind of a percussion, eerie sound to it because of the it goes with the tone of the underground New York City, the very sleazy and all the derelict kind of the bad side of New York City, which every city has its bad side. And also in the clubs, certain clubs like called the Mine Shaft, all these weird gay clubs and leather bars. The Freaking chose a very interesting soundtrack for that too, with it's like a kind of punk rock groups, the Cripples, Mutiny, John Hyatt, Willie DeVille, and very wild soundtrack. Because I guess originally it was all disco music, and he didn't really like that. And I guess Jack Nitzsche turned him on to these musicians. Pretty cool soundtrack too. And I guess they remastered that too. That just came out a while ago. I think it corresponded with this 4K released. But this is a really good film. It's like I said, it's controversial. It's not for everybody, but Pacino's really good in this. I like it. Like I said, the special features on here, a lot of good commentaries. A couple of them with William Freaking, talking about the process of the film. I guess him and Al Pacino just see eye to eye on this because Al didn't know what he was getting into during the making of this. But Freaking always, he has a no holds bar approach, I told you, and I guess later on he said that Pacino actually did a pretty cool performance in this. And he does a commentary with film journalist Mark Commodi, who did a lot of documentaries for Freaking on French Connection, The Exorcist, and I believe this one too. And he worked with did some documentaries on British filmmaker Ken Russell, who was another controversial filmmaker too. He did the film The Devils in 1971, and the Who movie, the musical Tommy, which was a big success. Everyone knows that. If you're a big classic rock fan like me, and I'm a big Who fan, so it's pretty interesting. But there's an old vintage documentary on here, Exercising Crews, in 3 parts. They talk to William Freaking and some of the cast members in it, the editors and the filmmakers, and they talk all about the film. That was transferred from an old special edition DVD. Nice interview with Karen Allen on here, and Mike Starr, who was played one of the cops in this too, with Joe Spinell, where they both play kind of shady, crooked cops, and I won't give too much away on that, but if you haven't seen the film, find out who they truly are. But yeah, it's really good. It is a great, probably an hour and 50 minutes interview with a technical advisor, Randy Jurgensen, who was a actually a New York City cop. He worked on Freaking in the French Connection. He was in that, and he's in this film. He plays a cop, and he was a real guy that went undercover in these gay bars back in the early 60s, early 70s, and he's really fascinating. He talks about the whole history of his time in the New York City Police Department and working on this film. Of course, he's a really cool guy. It's really fascinating to listen to, so that's a nice special feature on that. But like I said, you know, it's a really good thriller. I think it's one of Al Pacino's underrated performances. Just, I think it's one of my favorite freaking films, up there with The Exorcist and French Connection, definitely, and Sorcerer, which I also love. But definitely worth checking out, and great purchase. So I think you guys will definitely worth checking out. Okay, all right, and that is it for this one. Okay, God bless. Take care.